like 1,102,000,000 times.
Is that even a number?
I don't know.
Right, what are we doing?
We're really tired.
What are we doing?
We're giving you an overview of our trip to Mandalay. Currently,
to Mandalay?
Oops.
Oh my god.
I'm really tired.
Right, let me talk. I'll take this away. Right. We're in Myanmar for 2 weeks and we want to give you guys as much helpful advice and tips as what we can give you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so cool. So first thing is we landed in YANGON and we were staying in downtown YANGON. YANGON airport is about an hour and a half from downtown YANGON. It will cost you about... Depending on traffic. Cost you about 8,000 Chat to get from YANGON airport to downtown YANGON. 8,000 Chat in today's money is about £4.20. To get a taxi when you get to the airport, there's a taxi stand just outside the arrivals area of the airport, and you can book a taxi there. The lady will then walk you to the taxi. Driver will be made aware of the price, and then you'll be able to get in the car and just have that agreed price. So
do you want to mention
the other thing when you get to the airport is
Grab taxi as well.
Oh yeah, there is Grab taxi. There's an app that you can download called Grab, very similar to Uber. Seems to work great in Asia.
A lot cheaper.
A lot cheaper. Yeah. Another thing, when you get to the airport, grab one of the SIM cards at the airport. Works out to about 5,500 Chat for a SIM card. That will come with about 1.7 gig of data. The main reason, get a bigger package if you need to at that point, because the Wi-Fi you'll soon find in Myanmar is pretty poor.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure why, but if you want to upload any photos or videos to cloud storage, or download, or speak to your nan, or see how your pet's getting on, or whatever it is, you're going to want to have that data.
That's right.
Cool. So we went from the airport to YANGON. When we got to YANGON was an amazing place. We're going to start with the pros of what we found.
Before you start that, I just want to also mention, bring with you US dollars. Don't bring pounds if you want to convey it here.
That's a good tip, yeah.
Because they don't really know pounds here. They operate a lot in US dollars. So that's just a heads up when you come to the airport, bring dollars.
Yeah, bring dollars, but they do have ATMs. They have ATMs everywhere if you want to get money out, right?
But they charge a bomb.
Yeah.
They charge a
bomb.
So
probably worth getting out a big lump of money.
In US dollars.
Instead of even if you go to the ATM, worth getting out a big lump of money instead of keep going there every couple of days to withdraw more.
Yeah.
So, pros about YANGON, and sorry if we keep looking at our phones, it's because we've got notes on the phone. I'm not actually,
a lot to say.
I'm not texting my mum or anything like that right now. So you get an experience of the authentic and modern culture with the foods and the temples in YANGON. There's loads of amazing pagodas to see in YANGON. There's loads of cathedral sort of.
It's very multicultural. Yeah. So they have like temples within walking distance of a mosque, within walking distance of a cathedral, within walking distance of a pagoda, and you didn't really feel conflict. You felt really comfortable around there.
Definitely.
It was really nice to see such a mix of different religions in a small area.
And there's a lot of different types of food as well, wasn't there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of variety of food. They've also got their own Chinatown, so if you like Chinese food, you can just pop down there, grab some Chinese food. We really liked. We basically did the top things that you can do as a tourist in YANGON, right?
Yeah.
So we went to see the cathedral. We went to the different pagodas.
You can see most of it in our other video with our overview of YANGON as to what we did.
Yeah.
It's got the names of the pagodas as well, because we're not very good at remembering.
Well, we went to the main one, which is called Shwedagon.
Yeah.
Shwedagon was a really nice pagoda. You do have to pay an entrance fee.
As with most places.
As with most places in YANGON.
Yeah. In Myanmar overall.
In Myanmar, yeah. True.
For touristy things, you do have to pay entrance. Locals don't have to. Tourists do. Shwedagon, best time to go would be sunset, right?
Sunset was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was really nice, and you can see the way, because they have all the lights on around the pagoda, and it just looks incredible.
Yeah, and also they've got candles for the prayers. You get to see them pray once the sundown happens, and before that you get to see sunset. Same thing. You get to see that. It's quite incredible to see it. both in the day and night, and I think it's definitely something you do have to experience in both day and night.
So check out Shwedagon. Great thing about Yangon, another pro, is that everything, if you're in downtown Yangon, everything's in walking distance. So you'll be able to see most of the stuff by just walking around in a day or two.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. BOGJI market.
I loved.
Yeah, for her it was great. They've got loads of
clothes, jewelry. Thing is, we looked around in a lot of the places for the typical tourist pants, the elephant print ones. And I think in BOGJI market it was the cheapest. We managed to get her down to something like 2,000 kyats. Whereas in places like where we went to later, it was a lot more expensive. So BOGJI market, if you're looking to get clothes, go there.
Yeah. Laundry. So obviously, if you're traveling, you want to get your laundry done, unless you want to be smelly.
Yeah, because we tried to wash it ourselves, but where we were staying was really humid. Not a great bathroom in terms of pressure, etc. So we didn't get really clean. So we had to do it again at the laundrette.
So we got our laundry done in 12th Street, which is in downtown Yangon. And the cost for it was 1,500 kyat per kg,
which was the cheapest we found.
Which was the cheapest we've had in the whole trip in Myanmar. That works out to about 80 pence a kilo, which is great. So we went there for laundry. Other pros about Yangon: so it's quiet in the night for a city.
Yeah, it was probably the quietest city I've seen after 9 p.m. Not many cars on the road. Not many people outside.
Yeah.
Still, most places were open, but it was just really quiet for a city. I've never seen a city like that. Whereas in the day, it's just mad hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
You'd be stuck in traffic.
It's busy in the day. It's a proper city, isn't it?
Yeah.
Taxis. Coming on to taxis. So taxis in Yangon were really easy to find, and you can barter with the taxis. Once you're there for a few hours or a day or two, you'll start to get to know how much a fare should be, and another
also ask your accommodation.
Ask your accommodation, or check Grab taxi as well, because that will give you an idea of what roughly you should be paying. And if you don't want to jump in a Grab, just jump in a local taxi,
and just let them know what you're paying.
And and let them know what you're paying for Grab, and then that way you'll get it cheaper.
Cheaper, yeah.
Cons. Coming on to the cons about Yangon. Cons of Yangon. We didn't really enjoy Sule Pagoda. We had to pay to get in. It wasn't sort of breaking the bank to get in. I think it was about $3 each to get in. But we didn't really feel as though there was that much to see inside there.
We were in and out within about 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
It was just like a circle around the main stupa. And then that was it. There wasn't much to do.
Nothing much at all, was there?
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. Coming on to the Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is poor. So this is something that was mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it's poor all over.
We got to Yangon and maybe we thought, it might just be the hostel. But soon found out, most places, the Wi-Fi, it isn't great. It cuts out as well. It's very intermittent. Super polluted.
Yeah, mad polluted.
So Yangon was quite polluted.
I got a really bad cough while I was there from the pollution. So I can see why some of the locals and tourists wear those masks in Yangon, because there is a lot of cars, quite a lot of pollution, and it can get to you if you've got a sensitive throat.
Yeah.
Also bugs, loads of bugs, mosquitoes everywhere.
Cockroaches, mosquitoes, rats. There's all sorts of stuff.
We saw.
There's a sort of stuff that you do genuinely expect in Asia anyway, but just be
in Yangon.
Just be wary of it.
Yeah. For restaurants, things like that.
Yeah, for when you're eating or what. Exactly that.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for Yangon, right?
Yeah. And then next up, we went to Pagoda. We booked our coach through our accommodation. It came up to about 18,500 kyats, £9 per person, which is expensive. You can get cheaper, but we wanted to get first class. Just because it was quite a long journey and it was a night coach. It was really good. Still for £9, it was really good. You got your own, what's the word? It reclined. Recliner seat. You could properly lie down. They give you a pillow. They give you a blanket. They give you a drink. They give you a snack. It was really good. And then we got to Bagan. Bagan, to get around, you can get an e-bike. It's one of the only places that really allow tourists to do this because it's not got as many cars and things on the road. To get an e-bike, we paid 7,000 chats for the day, and that was fitting 2 people on one of the bigger bikes, and a really good bike actually. You can easily get conned out there, and you'll find a lot of people tell you that, you know, I'm the cheapest there is in the whole of Bagan, this, that and the other, and they sound like they're really genuine, and we fell for it unfortunately on the first day. We're not going to say the name of the company, but they charged us 10,000 for a whole day, whereas the other one was a better vehicle and it was 7,000. That was with WinEye. That was the cheapest one we found, and yes, great service. Yeah,
it was really good. So WinEye, if you are watching this, I want a free bike next time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And also we got him a lot of service. We got him a lot of customers.
Yeah.
It's also really good to get a bike to get around everywhere, because there's no streets around the temples. It's little kind of like alleys almost out of sand, I would say, to get between the temples.
Yeah.
If you were to walk, it's a long walk between the temples, some of the bigger ones. Yes, WinEye, he's opposite Crown Prince Hotel. So if you're going to go find him, he's opposite Crown Prince Hotel. What else I really liked about Bagan is you do get a proper cultural experience.
Yeah.
Loads of pagodas, not much modern amenities there. It was really nice, a bit of an authentic experience for us. Also, the people there were so lovely, weren't they? They were amazing. Really, really nice people in Bagan.
Yeah, they're really good people.
It's really mild temperatures for Brits. I think it's perfect temperature. However, in the morning and evenings it gets really cold, so you do need jumper and long trousers, I'd say. But in the daytime it gets up to 30s. Evenings about 16 degrees. In January this is, and 16 degrees, I would say. Really cold wind though, even though it sounds like 16 degrees is hot. It's really cold winds. What else did I like? The Irrawaddy River. So we went on the e-bike and we just used Google Maps, kind of followed towards the river. It says on Google Maps that there's no roads, but there is. And it took us to this little village where it's proper authentic houses, wooden houses with like all of 7 relatives living in there, different generations. It was really nice. And they showed us towards the river. We went down a little bit of a dodgy path. We thought, okay, it's not going to be anything special. We went through the bush down this path, and then we just saw the most amazing view, didn't we? It was like
it was incredible.
The sandbank and the river, and then locals washing their clothes in the river, the little wooden boats. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
What else was there about Bagan? One moment.
Restaurant.
The restaurant, yes.
Yeah, food.
There's loads of choice for food, but our favourite was Seven Sisters restaurant. It was Thai food, really reasonably priced. It was family run. It seemed family ran. I don't know the word. But yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it was a really good restaurant. Really well priced.
Yeah, really well priced. Where we stayed was Bagan Nova. For me, it was my favourite place out of whole of Myanmar to stay. They had a really nice modern new rooms. It was so new that you could actually still smell the new paint and everything written there. And they still had plastic over the switches. It was brand new, and it was about £22 per night for us, which was a bit more expensive, but it was definitely worth it, because we had a rooftop terrace breakfast, and it was all freshly made, pancakes, eggs, toast, everything. Look, he's laughing because I keep talking about their breakfast because I keep comparing
it to everywhere we go.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it as
it was amazing.
That amazing.
It was really good.
Yeah, you like the breakfast.
And then cons. The thing is, when you go to some of the temples that are like on the top 10 temples to see in Bagan or something, the locals have caught on to it. And I know they're trying to make a living, but what's ruined it is that they're trying to sell you things inside the pagodas. Like, you're going in there to see a bit of history and things like that, but then this person set up shop inside the pagoda or outside the pagoda, and you want to take a nice shot outside, and it kind of ruins it. Market stalls outside were really cool. I think it's good to have market stalls, but to set up your shop on the floor inside or outside of a pagoda isn't the greatest thing to do, because it's ruining the scenery, and it's also probably damaging the temple as well.
Yeah.
The other thing we would say is hot air balloon price. Oh my god, it was so expensive. So it was something that when we first looked at pictures of Bagan, we really wanted to do, but when we see the price was near enough, about $450 per person, we had to pass because it was way out of budget. But you can easily see such a nice sunrise from a pagoda. One thing to be wary of is don't Google where to see the best sunrise, because they all say go to this temple because they allow you to climb it. Don't do that, because we did that and we went to the temple and it was closed. They're closing them all over the place to do renovation, and obviously for people's safety, because if they say don't climb it, don't climb it. Because I think in November an American tourist died from climbing on, which said don't climb. And yeah, be careful. So there are places you can go which they do allow you to climb inside the temples, because they're sturdy enough and it won't damage, but you'd need to ask the local to find it. And I think that's my main tips of Bagan.
Alright, cool. Shall I move on to Mandalay?
Yeah. Oh wait, it's not,
No?
sorry. Laundry was a little bit more expensive. It was 2,000 chats per kilogram.
Yeah.
Entrance fee as well, yes. That's a really important thing. We thought we were being conned when we were coming into Bagan. We took a taxi with another 2 travellers to save on the price, and we got stopped halfway to Old Bagan, New Bagan.
This is a taxi from the coach station in Bagan, right?
Yeah, to New Bagan.
To New Bagan.
And we got stopped. It seemed a little bit dodgy. It was just a guy comes up to the taxi window and says, all right, you've got to pay 25,000 per person each. We thought it was fake. We argued. Then Vic checked online and it was legit. You do have to pay it, and make sure you take your ticket with you, because someone missed the sunrise because they didn't have their ticket with them. Again, it just seems like random local people saying, where's your ticket? But it's probably genuine. They do need to see your ticket sometimes.
Yeah.
And also, so always keep it with you. I think that's it. That's
Cool.
it for Bagan.
Alright, so from Bagan we went to Mandalay. And we got to Mandalay using a coach. And it was we got a daytime coach, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the cost to get to Mandalay from Bagan was 12,000 Chut, which is £6.50 per person. And the coach service that we used was called JJ Express. However, I didn't book it through their website, because although their website's really good, it's got quite a lot of negative reviews on it. So check out one of the agents in Bagan. You'll see them all over the place, and just tell them you want to book up JJ Express. Look for a price around 12,000, and that way, if anything goes wrong, at least you've got that local person that you can go back to and say, hey, this has gone wrong, or I've turned up at the station and they're saying that my ticket isn't valid, or whatever it is. At least you've got that source of contact. So moving from Mandalay, so we went from Bagan to Mandalay, and we were in Mandalay for a few days. Didn't have the greatest time.
We stayed in the hotel most of the time.
Stayed in the hotel most of the time. There's not actually much to do in Mandalay, so I think you can do most of the stuff in Mandalay within a day.
Half day.
Probably half a day, yeah. Well, yeah, we did it in half a day, didn't
Yeah.
we? Actually, booking somewhere to take you to see these places isn't the easiest thing to do either. We went to a cafe called Rainforest. You'll find them on TripAdvisor. And the guy there, he'll book you a tuk-tuk, 10,000 each.
For a whole day.
For a whole day. However, you can speak to him, and you might be able to do that for a half a day instead.
Yeah.
And negotiate on a better price. So yeah, not much to see. Expensive to get into some of the places in Mandalay. So there's quite a hefty charge, isn't there?
Yeah, most expensive out of whole of Myanmar that we did anyway.
Yeah, I think there was one place we went to and it was like 10 US to get into, 10 US each to get into a palace. So we kind of just walked away and said, you know what, that's just not what we're going to pay.
But on top of that, a lot of things were also free. Like they had that monastery which was next to that palace, and that was free of charge, and it was really pretty inside, to be fair. And also, what was the other? Kuthador, which is a UNESCO site now, which has the world's largest book, Kuthador Pagoda. That was it. That was really good thing to see, to be fair. But
it was really nice to see.
To go all the way to Mandalay to see that, I would say it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But it was a really good place.
other thing about Mandalay's really spaced out. So when you're going from Yangon, and Yangon has a similar layout in terms of, if you look on Google Maps, it's kind of like Manhattan, where they've got a ladder with different streets in the ladder. Mandalay's exactly the same. However, Mandalay's...
So is Yangon, actually.
Yeah. So, but Mandalay's a lot more spread out. What that means is that if you just want to come out of your hotel, take a stroll, and go and see something,
or go for dinner,
or just expect to just take a walk and be able to see different things, it's not really going to happen.
Yeah, it's quite a long walk between things.
It's quite a long walk between things. You need to plan a bit more before you go somewhere.
Yeah, and there's not as many taxis, so you do have to walk.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it for Mandalay. Moving on to Inle.
Yes, so we went to Inle from Mandalay. Cost us £13,500.
Wow.
It was an expensive
trip.
13,500 chats per person, which is about £7. And that took us in a daytime coach, actually, which was a really bumpy ride, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
more of a minibus, wasn't it?
Minibus, yeah. It wasn't a coach, because we decided to take the day because it was only 5 hours, and it was worth it for the views, but it was really bumpy and could make you feel a little bit car sick as well. We both felt it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the views were incredible. If you're afraid of heights, though, avoid it.
And we took a daytime coach because it was only like 5 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's only 5 hours.
Yeah, 5 hours from Mandalay to Inle.
Yeah. Inle was definitely our favourite place, I think, out of the whole of our trip to Myanmar. There's no motorbikes for rent, or no e-bikes, not many taxis, so you do have to get a bicycle. Bicycle was so cheap from our hotel. We stayed at Inle Lotus. It was 2,000 chats per person per day for a bicycle, and that works out to be about £1 per person in today's exchange rate, which was really good for the whole day. And you get to go off path, you can go through some of the water villages. It was actually really good, and it was probably the most exercise I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, it probably was.
You're in a lot of pain then.
It was cheap. It was cheaper than the gym membership, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. What else was good? Oh, book a boat through an agency. We booked it through an agency which was opposite Dosa King. Remember Dosa King, because that's also a really good place to go for dinner. Opposite Dosa King. Unfortunately, I don't remember the company's name, but it's the main one there you'll see. And that was 10,000 chats per person for a whole day. Literally from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. we got to watch the sunset over in Leh Lake. And it was 100% worth it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was the best day tour we've ever had.
It was incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I say ever had so far. It was really incredible. We got to see loads of different factory kind of things, like workshops. We got to see a silk cotton lotus workshop where they make kind of cloths and clothing, things like that, from the lotus plant out of everything, which I didn't know about. Did you?
No.
So that was quite cool. Also, we went to a cigar factory, we went to a silver factory, we went to a monastery, a pagoda. They can take you for lunch. You can actually tell the driver where you want to go. We went to a cat monastery, which we're really careful of because the cats are quite feisty. It scratched me up. Little B word. But it's okay, they're cute. And we went to another pagoda, actually, where we saw like newborn puppies. Oh my god, they were so cute, weren't they? So cute.
Yeah,
you
they
can
were
see
really
that in
cute.
the other video. But yeah, that was really nice as well. Best day trip, and the sunset was incredible. One thing to be aware of as well, you can take pictures of the fishermen for free at a distance. If you want them to do some poses, you can give them a tip. So just let them know, call them over, and then they'll come in front of your boat, let you take pictures, they'll do their poses, and you can give them whatever you want. There's no fixed price. They're not going to ask you for like a crazy amount after. You're not being scammed. You can give them what you want, and then they'll go away. So yeah, loads of food choices in Leh Lake. There's a lot of Indian restaurants, so we went to Dosa King like twice. We also went somewhere called Namaste, which was really good. I think it's the same owner, we got told, but we're not sure. But it was really good food, both opposite each other. Cheese is expensive. Random thing, but we were buying bread, cheese and crisps for lunch and a snack, because it was the cheapest thing to do for lunch rather than paying the same price you would pay for dinner, and it saved us quite a lot of money. But cheese was a little bit more expensive. I think it's not as readily available as in other places.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
But it was like 2,000 kyat for 5 slices of cheese.
Yeah.
Which, if you compare it to the cost of bread or milk or whatever else, then it is very inflated.
Yeah. I mean, you can hire a bike for a day for that price.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Exactly. So.
What else is there? There was no entrance fees on our tour as well, by the way. That's just to be noted for all those factories and things. People were really, really genuine in Leh Lake. We had no problems. Everyone was friendly. Everyone was out there to help you.
Yeah.
I think it was overall the best part of our whole trip. And that's no cons for in Leh Lake, I don't think.
No, it was just incredible.
It was just everything was perfect.
We were there for 3 nights?
3 nights. 2 nights.
2 nights, yeah.
2 nights, 3 days.
2 nights, 3 days, yeah. And we found that enough, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to do more and you want to space it out a bit, you can do, if you want to do it easily. What I would say is if you're going to do that and you're going for 2 weeks, skip Mandalay. Take an extra day in Bagan, take an extra day in Mandalay.
Yeah.
That's one thing we really did regret about Bagan is not having an extra day there.
Yeah. We spent too long in Mandalay. 3 days was just too long, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's 2 nights, 3 days there as well. So if you can skip it, skip it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. And just use the extra days in Bagan and in Leh.
So finally,
I'm gonna
these are the final tips for the overall Myanmar experience. So after you get a coach, so for example when you're getting on the coach from Yangon to Bagan, when you get off at Bagan coach station, you'll find before you get through the exit door of the coach, you'll see loads of taxi drivers trying to pull you.
Yeah.
And they're going to try and pull you to ask you where you're going, and then they're going to try and give you a price that's just through the roof, right?
And the thing is with the Bagan one as well, you're in the middle of nowhere, whereas in Yangon you can actually walk out and get a cheaper taxi, but in Bagan you're pretty stuck for choice.
So how do you avoid that?
Sharing the taxi.
So there's 2 options. You either share the taxi, so you find a couple of other people in advance of getting off the coach and saying, hey, you head into the New Bagan or Old Bagan or the centre of Yangon or whatever it is, just have a chat with them, share a taxi. Option number 2 is that you haggle. Yeah. So you haggle when you get off the coach. Just keep saying no. Eventually someone will give up and say, okay, fine,
because they're
we'll
all
take
rushing around you, and then they'll ask you, okay, fine, what's your price? Give the lowest possible price you can think of, and then you'll see a few people walk away, but then 1 or 2 will be hanging around you.
Yeah.
And then eventually
so that's our tip on the coaches. Bring a jumper.
Yeah.
If you're coming in winter, bring a jumper and bring
long trousers.
Long trousers, yeah. So if you're a guy, bring your long trousers. If you're a girl, then bring your long trousers.
Yeah.
And if you're anything else, then bring your long trousers. Bring your long trousers. All right, cool. So next up, loads of mosquitoes, expected in Asia anyway.
Yeah,
but there is loads of mosquitoes.
I mean, we're in Vietnam right now, and we haven't had that many mosquitoes here compared to what we had in Myanmar. Yeah. Forgot where we were.
Pretty safe. We didn't feel uncomfortable in the cities, so we stayed on the tourist trail most of the time. We found it pretty safe, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the hospitality was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And that's about it, really.
I think
that's everything. So
if you've got any questions or you want any help planning your trip to Myanmar, our itinerary and tips and things like what pagodas, blah 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 to visit, just drop us a message. You'll put the link in the YouTube to our Facebook, to our Instagram. Make sure you follow and like this video.
Cool.
Last take, I hope. See ya.
See ya.